Hey, say, man. Hey, man. Stop that cap. Errol Spence Jr., a brand new leaked picture of the God. Errol Spence Jr., you guys see it. What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. So the picture on the screen that you've seen, I seen this on Twitter, and somebody ran into Errol Spence Jr. And for me, it looks like some kind of supermarket. You know, I'm trying to look in the back. I see some, I don't know, some teas, some herbal teas, some Starbucks drinks. I don't really know, but it looks like a grocery store. And you see Errol Spence Jr. Hey, stop that cat. He's donning the patch over his eye. So Errol Spence, true to this, not new to this, keeping it real per usual. Errol Spence Jr., he is suffering from an eye injury, or like basically the recovery of cataract surgery. Errol Spence told you this. Now, you guys can listen to me, you can listen to whoever, but the best in the business is back. Subscribe to this channel, Boxing Ego. I keep giving you the greatest of information, you know, accurate information. And there's a lot of people that hate on PBC, a lot of people that hate on black fighters, a lot of people that hate on Errol Spence Jr. And they were acting as if Errol Spence was lying. Throughout his whole career, he kept it a bean with you. Throughout his whole career, he's been a man who says certain things and does what he says. He's been a fighter who has given you entertaining fights, but due to the fickle nature of social media and today's boxing fans, they're looking for, it's just a lot of turncoat, a lot of Benedict Arnolds, a lot of turncoat energy that I see in the boxing game. I've been a fan of Errol Spence. We still rock it with Errol Spence despite the loss to Terence Crawford. And it's just, it sounds stupid, for lack of a better word. It sounds stupid. There's so many people that they want Errol Spence to not be telling the truth. They want Errol Spence to be lying, and they want to bring up his worst moments. But I don't view the game of boxing like that, because some of the greatest fighters of all time have lost, like Muhammad Ali, who's widely considered as the greatest, Sugar Ray Robinson. It's only a handful of guys, Andre Ward, Rocky Marciano, Floyd Money Mayweather, easy work, Kawasaki, that retired undefeated. The rest of them, from Lennox Lewis to Tyson. Hi, it's me, Mike Tyson. I took a loss. I lost to Buster Douglas. Errol Spence, he lost Terence Crawford. And it's not, you got to be a disciplined fighter, right? That's how Mike Tyson would say it. You got to be disciplined. Without discipline, you're nothing. It's like Custom Motto once told me. That's how Mike Tyson would do it. Subscribe for the impressions. Subscribe for the boxing news. But I mean, the top fighters, they've all taken losses, most of them, outside of a handful of people like Floyd Mayweather. And it's sad to see today's game is soft. Today's era of boxing, to me, is soft for a variety of reasons, one being the fans. And I do blame the fans. If you don't like that, scram, get off my channel. But I do blame the fans because, again, the fan, a bunch of Benedict Arnolds, a bunch of turncoats, people rocking with Errol Spence Jr., and they're like man down, buying strap season shirts, and they think everything stops because he lost a meaningful fight. Now, I get it. Certain fights, Tyson Fury, Wilder, certain fights with, you know, Errol Spence and Crawford, those are the fights, the Pacquiao and Floyd Mayweather. Those are fights you don't want to lose as a fighter, but at the end of the day, it doesn't mean you're not a great fighter yourself. You just lost to somebody who was better on that night, and that's just what it was. We knew going into it that this was a possibility because Crawford is a good fighter. Now, before I finish this video, I gotta let y'all listen to a word from the channel sponsor, but don't go anywhere because I got a lot more to say. Are you tired of your YouTube videos not getting any views? Well, consider TubeBuddy. I've used TubeBuddy for years to scale up my YouTube channel. Now we're sitting over 200,000 subscribers. TubeBuddy is a browser extension that offers a ton of built-in productivity and time-saving services to take your channel to the next level. Use my link in the description to get started with TubeBuddy and level up your channel faster. We work. And we're back. So last night, Terence Crawford took shots at Errol Spence Jr. I made a video. Make sure you check that separate video. But just to recap, he said, ooh wee, put it in the air. He said, ooh wee, this game is looking like me and Errol Spence Jr. They must have injuries. That's why we winning, huh? Which was, you know, I understand being petty and stuff like that, but what are we really talking about? Like, Errol Spence flew through a car, like literally. Like, this is not like hearsay or you heard it through the grapevine. Like, this is not like some rumor that you got some secondhand information. There's literally a videotape of Errol Spence his car being tossed around. This is infamous at this point from a few years ago. And again, what I've said in the public, and I stand on it, you got to stand on business, right? Is people, they were like amazed that Errol Spence survived it. They were amazed that Errol Spence had no broken bones. But to think that the man came out of this unscathed without any lingering effects, that's pretty much a long shot. Like, it's a miracle, yes, that he survived, but at the same time, you're probably going to feel some effects. Like I said, I know people who have been shot, and I'm not saying this to glorify it, but I know people who have been shot, and certain days, like in cold months or whatnot, they have aches and pains because your body is never truly probably the same when you go through certain catastrophic events, like an accident. People could say, oh, you're making an excuse, but that's like, you've never been through those things. Like, I know people who have done like extreme sports, like dirt biking and X Games types of stuff, like snowboarding, and they get in these bad wrecks, and maybe they're not the same snowboarder. It just depends on the person and the individual injury. But to think that Errol Spence had zero lingering effects is just stupid to me, because it clearly has impacted his quality of life to some degree. And you can get mad at this and not address the elephant in the room. You know, he's definitely beaten other guys despite being back from the accident, like Ugas and Danny Garcia. But I'm going to take the man at face value if he says his eye was something wrong. And furthermore, when we're talking about this whole Errol Spence campaign, are we really thinking that he's going to public places like this Kroger's or Publix or whatever grocery store this is, Central Market? Are we really to believe that in an effort to duck, because I've seen all types of things. Some people are saying duck. He's ducking Crawford by pretending he has an accident. I mean, it's to say it's more of the same. Are we really, literally, is this what boxing has come to, where we're to believe that Errol Spence is so fraudulent that he's getting carted around in a wheelchair, posting the videos in some kind of hospital? He's taped up his own eye, and now he's walking through public places with glasses on and a patch over his eye after we knew he had a detached retina, just for show, just to convince people that he's injured or had injuries that he doesn't really have. To me, that sounds very stupid. I really don't buy it. I don't buy it at all. I truly think that Errol Spence has went through some trauma. I think Errol Spence, as a result, he's had issues, you know. It's not to take away anything from Crawford, it's the reality. And something that I pointed out that nobody else in world boxing has pointed out is this picture. So this was clearly Errol Spence, probably, I don't know the exact time, but weeks after he had gotten the accident, right? This was sometime after. You see cuts and like road rash on his face or whatever this is, his lip, you know, skin peel, blah, blah, blah. But most importantly, you look at one of his eyes, like just one of his eyes looks like his broken blood vessel. I'm not a doctor. I'm not an ophthalmologist or whatnot, or optometrist, but it doesn't take any of those professions to look at a picture and see this picture was taken and his eye looks insanely bloodshot. You don't have to be a medical professional to see this. So one eye looks very clear and one eye looks bloodshot. So when Errol Spence is saying, oh, I had eye injuries or eye problems or cataracts and a detached retina and things like that, are you really surprised? Like, are you surprised that this is going, especially because I'm not the smartest brother in the world, but if you reverse the cameras and all that type of stuff, I would wager to make this bet that the eye that looked bloodshot in that mugshot picture that the police or whoever took is probably the eye with the patch over it. It's probably the eye that you see frequently taped up and patched up right there. You see what I'm saying? But you got to understand there's different front facing cameras. So it looks like it's on the left side in one picture and then another picture look like it's on the right because the image is reversed or transversed because of depending on the orientation of the camera, right? So I don't understand the Errol Spence hate. I think that's what some people are, and it's pretty pathetic. Errol Spence gave Crawford his props. Your boy Ego gave Crawford his props. He did the thing. He beat Errol Spence. Good job. You became a champion. But there's a lot of people like myself and even Teofimo Lopez who recently said this. Teofimo said Crawford has frequently fought people with handicaps. Now you can get mad at Boxing Ego. You can get mad at Teofimo. You can call us names and all this other goofy stuff, but address what's being talked about. And the reality is what Teo and Ego are saying is true. Crawford has fought people with these existing notions. Now, again, one can make the argument that, oh, Errol Spence post-accident was good enough to beat Danny Garcia and was good enough to beat guys like your Dennis Ugas, but Crawford is Crawford. He's not Danny and he's not Ugas, and he come out with a great game plan, him and Bomac, and he's a switch hitter, and he was the first southpaw out of this equation that we're talking about, Danny Garcia and Ugas, and it looked like some other things possibly went wrong in Errol Spence's corner. Again, take it or leave it. I'm not gonna lie and act like what I'm seeing is not what I'm seeing when it comes to Errol Spence. And again, his code of conduct has never led me to believe that he's this habitual liar, that he's just constantly jockeying for position. Like, I remember I have an interview with Errol Spence, Media Scrum or something, and Errol Spence said he doesn't even like having media obligations. So if Errol Spence wasn't in the limelight, he wouldn't be in the limelight most likely, because I think he's a kind of quiet dude and he just be tucked. You know what I'm saying? So he don't like, he's probably cool taking pictures with fans like you see right here. But in terms of like speaking to the media and things like that, that's not really his bag, his forte. He's just doing that because he understands and realizes it's part of the game and he's a brand now. You know what I mean? But I don't think he prefers that. He doesn't prefer to be in that limelight and things like that. So again, nothing about Errol Spence, what he showed me, leads me to believe that he's a liar. And it's just sad that you have people who are insinuating these things like, oh, he's not a warrior, he's looking for a way out of the Crawford fight. But if these same people who are, keyboard warriors, and they type in this type of stuff, they type and that's all y'all do is type. Y'all type, and I know people gonna get mad what I say, and they're gonna be typing comments like, oh, Boxing Ego, you're full of it. Oh, Boxing Ego, I'm unsubscribing. Oh, Boxing. That's all y'all do is type. I don't care about no type. I'm in the real world in real life. You know what I'm saying? When you see me in public, it ain't no typing. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you have to address me like you would a real man. You know what I mean? But anyway, a lot of people, they're really trying to denigrate Errol Spence's brand and act like he ain't as advertised. And, some of them are switching sides and co-signing like Crawford being petty and saying, oh, this look like the Cowboys and the Green Bay Packers. But to me, a lot of that is like weird energy, given the fact that, Errol's a human. He came up short on a given night. You were entertained all throughout his career. And then now, because of one loss or big loss or whatever it's perceived as, you got people who are flipping. But it just lets you know, and this is probably good for Errol Spence and any other future fighter to know that A lot of people are fake. A lot of people are fake. They're going to be in your corner only when it's the roller coaster ride and it's fun and thrilling. But then as soon as you're met with this type of turmoil or, you know, any negatives in your career, they just go on and deride the next fighter. So definitely a great lesson for all fighters to learn. And that's why you got to make decisions for you, make decisions for your family, and, you know, keep it rocking ultimately, because these fans ain't going to pay your bills. They're not going to put your kids through private school. These fans, they're not even going to necessarily be here if you lose. They're going to be making memes and laughing at jokes about you and stuff like that. I'm not a fake person. So I've rocked with Crawford throughout his career and enjoyed his fights. I rock with Errol Spence and enjoy his fight. You're not going to dig me, like drag me into some little schoolyard, little kid games. That's not even how I operate. I'm a real man. I'm a grown man at the end of the day. I don't care. Like, there's stuff that's bigger than boxing. Errol Spence, like he said, he don't have to fight a day in his life if he don't want to. And I respect that. And I respect what both fighters have done. You know, we all picked who we picked. The fight happened. We got a conclusion. You know, it is what it is. But I'm not gonna kick a man while he's down. Especially no person like, I might kick someone when they down. Like if it's like O'Hara Davis or something, I ain't gonna front. If it's O'Hara, I might kick him when he's down, because he just says foolishness, and he said foolishness throughout his career. But you know, a real one like Errol Spence, I ain't doing that. Not on my channel. And if you don't like that, then you need to leave. You need to scram and unsubscribe, because ain't nothing gonna change. I'm still rocking with Errol Spence. It's still man down, still strap season. Hey, stop that cat.